All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And welcome to our Popdock webinar, specifically talking about Business Central data today and how you can utilize Popdock to see Business Central data in different applications and also inside of Business Central itself. In today's Popdock demo, let's talk about Popdock and what it actually is. So Popdock is made for the users and everyday doers. So those people that need to access data in real time using 1, 5, 10, 15 different systems in a day. This isn't big data reporting or BI for those that are pondering or strategizing with big data sets. It's made for the doers once again. You can access this data from any device and any application, for example, in-app, in Excel, or embedded in other applications as well. All right, so let's take a minute to talk about the 5 pillars that Popdock does, and I'll show these later in our demo as well. So if they don't make sense initially, like I said, I'll be showing them in a demo in just a minute. So the first is being able to embed an actionable widget. And this just means we can take data from one system and see it in another system without needing to integrate it. For example, if I want to see my Business Central invoices inside, let's say, a D365 sales or inside a Salesforce system, I can certainly see that in those other systems. Or even flip that scenario, and I am able to see our CRM data or maybe our Salesforce data or NetSuite data inside of Business Central. Next, having one interface for reporting for any system. When you talk about having to log into, more than one system a day and taking the time to move from one system to the next, it is a huge time saver to only have to log into one system. And not to mention having to remember all those different passwords for all those different systems. So the big thing I want to point out here is that Popdock gives you one interface to be able to filter and group in the same way across all those different systems, no matter what that system is, right? So the look and feel is going to always stay the same. Also, being able to report in a custom manner is very big. Just as a quick example, if we have invoices in Business Central and we want to see, let's say the credit card data related to it, that may be in a completely different system, we have the ability to join this data together into one list to view it. And once again, that data is all going to be shown in that same interface across different applications. So the look and feel is always going to be the same. Real-time data access. This isn't something that you have in a data warehouse or in a data lake that we grab once a day. So this, once again, is for those doers that want real-time data. You can refresh as many times as you want, as often as you think that data is changing, being able to grab that real time. Last, exception reporting. This is often one we don't think of enough. So let's take an example of a help desk ticket. If you have a customer that has reached a certain status level, you want to be able to know this exception and attend to that customer right away. Or let's say that you have inventory levels that are running low. You need to know about those exceptions so you don't run out of product. So those are just some examples of maybe some exception reporting that you can do. All right, just quickly, these are just a few of the 60 plus applications that Popdock can connect to. We're adding these in a daily manner. So if you have any systems that you want to see that aren't on the PopDoc website, certainly send through those suggestions. And these are just, like I said, just a handful of them here on the website. The other nice part is that we have a REST connector, right? So we're able to create those or be able to connect to those APIs on the fly. All right, so let's talk about a few different scenarios before I show you how these work in PopDoc. Earlier I mentioned embedding widgets. So we have the ability to see data in one system from another system without necessarily having to log in. For example, once again, maybe seeing that information inside your CRM system or cross applications, ERP invoices and shipping tracking information all in the same system as well. Being able to see your e-commerce orders inside of Business Central. Maybe one that people don't think of enough is, marketing automations or marketing campaigns, being able to see those in other systems as well. All right, so let's take a look at PopDoc itself. And we'll go right in here. So I'm just going to show you an example of, being able to see some data in different systems. I'm just going to make up a name here. And we are going to submit an order on a website. So let's think about this as maybe like an e-commerce order that we have coming in, okay? And we're going to see that show up in our Business Central system. Okay, so we have that invoice that came in here. If we click on it here, we're going to be able to see that we have the invoice that was created off the website, okay, for one unicycle. Let's quickly add another invoice in. Let's say that this Butter Times actually wants a real bike here. And I'm just going to put a performance bicycle in here and add one in there to quickly change today's date. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay. So now that we're saving this, I have one invoice come in off of the website, right? Maybe that e-commerce platform. I also created an invoice inside of Business Central while I was sitting in there. Okay. How about let's go into a CRM system. In this case, I have Dynamics 365 for sales. And I'm going to go ahead and open up that customer. Okay. So we can see here, PopDoc over on our right-hand side is now showing us those invoices that were inside of Business Central, right? This isn't integrated. This is just displaying the data that's inside of Business Central. So we can see that we have the data or the invoice, that initial invoice that came in, as well as the new one that I created. So on the right-hand side, you saw me just click on some actions, right? So I'm able to open up the invoice from within my CRM system and view that invoice inside of Business Central, okay? In the same instance, let's say I didn't actually want to show or go into another system, right? Let's say I only wanted to view that invoice inside of my CRM system, not ever leaving that application. So as you can see here, I have that line item for that performance bicycle here. Okay, so actionable items as well as just simply being able to display data from Business Central in another system. Okay, and in the same way, if I wanted to do this inside of Business Central, I could see the CRM data inside of Business Central. Let's take it a step further. I had mentioned earlier how we can see multiple different systems inside of another system, right? So I just show you Business Central data inside of Dynamics 365. Well, what about an additional system like Zendesk tickets, right? This is a support ticketing system where people are able to, you know, submit a support ticket, and then inside of your CRM system, you would be able to see those tickets. So this is another PopDoc widget that's embedded inside here. We can do multiple things like grouping and subgrouping, so we can see that different data. We can filter out different data in here as well. Okay, we can return as many records as we want. We can show additional columns as well. If we want to add some more columns to this, or if you want to simply look for, let's say, anything that has tomato in it, we're going to be able to see that here. Okay. The other neat part is, once again, you have those actionable items if you make them available for your team. Okay, so let's say I wanted to be able to change a priority right inside of my CRM system for another system. So let's say I want to say, all right, the tomatoes were mushy. I went ahead and solved this ticket for this customer. Okay, so those actionable items as well. And how about if you don't like the list view and you're more of a visual dashboard type person, we have the ability with PopDoc to be able to display this data in basically any form that you want. So in this case, I have a pie chart. If I wanted a line chart, etc., I would be able to display this as well. Okay, let's jump back into my PowerPoint here. And let's talk about cross-application reporting. Okay, so another way we can use this is inside the PopDoc application, we're able to compare, join, and merge different data sets. So maybe you want to be able to see Business Central data and GP data all in one list, or without having to move from application to application. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to view, historical data, maybe from another old legacy system. So with PopDoc, you're able to do that. Earlier, I had mentioned about marketing, right? Maybe people that need a way to see how their blogs or their knowledge-based articles are doing on different social media platforms such as Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn. We don't think of giving our marketing team something to be able to measure those. And so I would be able to, have a login one time and be able to access my Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, likes or, Google Analytics on those certain blogs and LinkedIn articles. So obviously you'd be able to, send out similar content that receives the most interactions on those as well. So let's take a look at our actual PopDoc application. So this is PopDoc itself, right? Earlier I showed you how those widgets work, that visual dashboard inside of different systems. This is the PopDoc application itself. This is the desktop version. Once again, this could be available on mobile or Excel, etc. But this is the actual application. So when I talked about customizing these different connectors, I'm going to go into the connectors here. I'll pick on Business Central. And we can see that we have a bunch of different settings here. We can assign these lists to different groups of people or different groups inside of Business Central. And our lists as well, right? So we have all of our normal lists, but if we have any custom lists inside of Business Central, we can modify those here as well. So the nice part about this is if you wanted to change the name in here on those different columns, you can certainly do so. So it's completely customizable. The other thing we can do is we can compare lists. We can join lists, maybe seeing that credit card information next to those invoices that came inside of Business Central, or maybe the shipping information that's related to the invoice inside of Business Central. We're going to be able to merge and join lists and restrict the data and summarize those lists as well. All right, so since we're in here, let's take a look at a few different things that we're able to do with PopDoc. Okay, so this is our little cloudy guy. He's jump roping, and we're gonna say, all right, our big number here shows that we don't have any sales invoices coming in here. I'm gonna bring it back to the default view since that was a specific view. And we're gonna have a really nice interface, right? Once again, being able to drag and drop, group and subgroup those different areas. We're going to be able to show different columns, right? So one of the big ones that I get on here is dimension codes, right? Oftentimes, people aren't able to see if there's an existing dimension code, 6, 7, and 8, we're able to add those on as well. Okay, and basically all you need to do is click as many as you want, add those selected items, and they're now available to see. And if you don't want to see those, you can simply just click those off and there they go. Okay, filtering. Once again, you can add as many filters as you would like. Okay, maybe you want to add a filter to only see certain states, dollar amounts greater than or equal to is this month, etc. We can do that in here, and you can add as many filters as you want. You're not restricted to a certain amount of them. Another thing here is being able to export to Excel. Every accountant seems to love to work inside of Excel. And so when we export to Excel, I just want to point out that this is extremely fast. We're still seeing those invoices. We're still seeing that grouping that I had inside of the PopDoc application. Okay. One thing you might have noticed is this little add-in over here. We have a little PopDoc add-in that's available on Microsoft App Source. And if we connect to it, let me just connect here. We're going to be able to grab different lists inside of PopDoc or inside of Excel. So, let's say we've already created these lists. We'll grab some customers and we're going to insert that data. Okay, so basically what this does is it allows you to be able to grab lists on the fly and be able to see that data inside of Excel. You can see one that I grabbed here with all the different customers as well. All right, so we're out of here. Let's go back into PopDoc itself. And actually, I want to talk about more of that exception reporting first. So let's go into the scheduled exception reporting. So I had talked earlier about maybe, giving you an alert when the customer has surpassed a credit limit. Or we just thought of one this morning, how we could use internally as well is we have people that, do like an e-signature forms. We have people sign documents or agreements, right? Licensing agreements with us. And we want to be able to know after we sent out that agreement, if nobody signed within 2 weeks, we want to be alerted that that customer or that partner hasn't signed that new document with us. So just another example, maybe orders over $5,000 that are declined inside of our Braintree or Stripe system, right? That payment gateway. Or maybe if we have donations over a certain dollar amount inside of Braintree, we're able to see those and get those exception reporting alerts. I'm going to go back into PopDoc here, and I'll show you where we set some of those up at. So let's first talk about underneath our widgets, okay? So underneath our widgets, we have options that, maybe we don't want people to have the ability to just show totals or, show details underneath certain items. Maybe we don't want them to be able to filter out data. Maybe we want just to be able to display a widget with X data on it, right? So we can add some restrictions inside of the widgets themselves. Oops. Also, jobs. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these jobs that are created here. Okay, so underneath this jobs tab, we're able to create a report that essentially is emailed to this email address, in this case, Joseph on our team. We're saying this is our subject, and we're going to send this every day at 9:20 in the morning. So he's getting a report once a day at the same time of everything that happened before the prior day. So you can set up those different jobs to occur or those different email alerts as well. All right. Let's go back into our PowerPoint. Once again, I want to point out that people want to see these on their mobile applications, right? Or on their web, their tablets. I often giggle because our CEO, I always tell him, do not look at, the sales that came in while you're out on vacation. Maybe you'll be happy about it, maybe you won't be happy about it. But this gives him the ability, and myself the ability, to see, all those invoices that are coming in from the website, or maybe all those e-commerce orders that are coming in from our e-commerce platform. We can see it on the desktop application like we had earlier and that I had shown you, and of course through the Excel add-in as well. Okay, let's go through some pricing. Underneath our Essentials plan, PopDock is $19 per user per month, so incredibly inexpensive. If you want that widget functionality, it would be the $59 monthly plus each user per month, okay? And as you can see that we go up and up for professional and premium, but basically you have a lot of the same functionality. When you're looking in maybe adding more of those REST services or the BI export, connecting it to Smart Connect, another one of our products as well, then I would suggest going with the premium one, but lots of different options there for you. All right, if you'd like to learn more about PopDock itself, you can certainly go to popdock.com. You can also set up a 7-day trial there. So popdock.com, on the website, there's a link that you can set up a trial. The really cool thing about that is, let's say that you don't have the time to connect to your different systems to get it all set up, and you just want to see, hey, how does PopDock work in general? We have sample data sets inside the PopDock application that just quickly fire up for you. You can play around with the same data that I was playing around with, the same data sets, and you'll be able to get a good feel for the solution without setting up to your own systems. Of course, you can always set up to your own systems as well in there. So once again, thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate having you on. If you have any questions, you can certainly email myself or sales@popdock.com. We look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Take care.